Extremist movie debate. Extremist movie debate. Extremist movie debate. The Extremist movie debate. And tonight, we're talking 2016's Fences.
I am Joe.
I'm Ethan, and one of us is going to love it, one of us is going to hate it.
Let the coin decide their fate.
I hate it.
Hey guys, don't resent us for the entirety of our lives. Spoilers ahead.
Okay, this movie currently holds a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, which makes it certified fresh.
Hold on, do I hate it?
I hate it.
Oh, sweet irony.
Yeah, Jeff, what's up?
And we gave the disclaimer, so we're in the clear to say anything. So, Ethan, you hate this movie. This first question is for you. This comes from Donald Clark of the Irish Times. He says, Denzel swells with dangerous charisma. Viola works high emotion from every one of her many lines. So can you briefly talk about Denzel Washington and Viola Davis and how effective they actually were in this movie? You have 1 minute.
Ineffective. Like they said, she works many emotions from her many lines, which is what they are. They're lines from a play. This movie is essentially the equivalent of setting a camera down and filming a stage play, which makes it boring. If you're going to film a stage play, you want, big sweeping camera motions and ridiculous musical numbers that make it feel like justified for getting a movie adaptation. Why would we pay $12 to $15 to go watch this on the big screen when we could just read it in an English college book as a sort of collection of August Wilson? Yeah, a textbook. That thing with all the words in it.
Okay.
A cornucopia of plays in text form.
Okay, Joe, you have 30 seconds to respond.
It seems like Ethan's mixing up like stage play with musical, which is fine. I mean, a lot of
Can't
musicals.
they be both?
No, they can be, but the sweeping grand gestures would be like a musical being adapted, whereas this is a very quiet character study that was on stage, and I think that's what's so effective about Denzel Washington and Viola Davis is every word matters in a stage play, and every word has to live for the audience, and you have to feel every emotion, and it's really hard to adapt that to the
Joe,
screen, and they do that.
You there. Thank you. Ethan, you have 15 seconds to respond.
If every word lives for the audience and is to display emotion, then it fails because I felt nothing while watching this movie. I felt like I was bored. Is that what the movie was going for? Was it for boredom? Okay.
Joe, you have 15 seconds to respond to that question.
I assume that Ethan just slept through the majority of this movie because he tends to fall asleep quite often. But no, I was very intrigued by this movie, and I think it's really admirable for a movie to be based around the word so much and have it such an invigorating movie.
Okay, thank you. And actually, your point leads into my next question. Joe, this is for you. This comes from David Edelstein of New York Magazine /Vulture. And he says, it's not cinematic enough to make you forget you're watching something conceived from another, more spatially constricted medium, but it's too cinematic to capture the intensity, the concentration of a great theatrical event. So, do you think that the film successfully transitioned from the stage to the screen? You have 1 minute.
I do think it successfully transfers itself, and I think the reason why is it's all in the performances between Denzel and Viola Davis. If they weren't in this movie, it might not be as effective. But you're watching a very quiet movie, and I do not think it's supposed to feel like real life, because the cadence of the words have a certain quality of poetry to them, and there's a certain cadence and music to the lines as they're being delivered, and I think that's intentional, and when you do that, it's not going to feel like real life. It's going to feel like a performance, which it's supposed to. And with the lead actors in this movie, it's incredible what they do, and it just shows the skill that it takes to be an actor, and it shows just the artistic quality of it. And I thought they nailed it. But as far as like a grand cinematic gesture, it's a quiet movie. It's a small movie about a very small family dealing with their own family drama. So it's not a large story for a giant cinematic experience.
Okay, thank you, Ethan. You have 30 seconds to respond.
Were you pretending to sleep?
I'm Joe. Words have a cadence. It sounds like poetry. That is pretentious as balls. This movie needs guns. This movie needs some form of an explosion if you want to have some sort of an impact on the audience and make it feel like a good, wholesome family drama, you need drama.
Okay, Joe, you have 15 seconds to respond.
I mean, the drama is there between the familial relationships between the father and the sons, and just his relationship to them, and how the son doesn't feel loved, and how the father doesn't think love is necessary. And I think Ethan should watch Training Day. Maybe that's what he thought he was going into.
Oh god, the movie's so good.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Ethan, you have 15 seconds to respond.
I do love that Training Day. You know what Training Day is good at? Putting in guns. Making some things go kablooey and giving a little bit of tension. This movie, the biggest tension is there's a little ball hanging from a string, and I'm just waiting for that to swing around and hit Denzel Washington in the head, and it never does.
Thank you, Ethan. That's your time. I'm gonna let you regain your composure for a second. And we're gonna open the floor for debate. You guys have 4 whole minutes to discuss.
There's enormous amount of like tension in this movie between the son, primarily.
If you care about the characters, but I don't.
You do. You don't. And I mean, no guns. I don't know why you wouldn't care about these characters, but I cared about them a lot. And I think the relationship between the father and the middle. Is there a
robot?
What?
At what point in this movie is there a robot?
What robot?
I want a robot.
So you want guns, robot?
Yes.
Anything else?
Can we do that?
I mean, I'm sure they could do that.
Okay, that would be great. Because I was not at all involved in the father-son relationship. A kid comes by and he wants $10. I don't care if he gets his $10 or not. I don't care what he's spending his $10 on.
That's not even the son I'm talking about.
The other son is boring as shit. The other son's just off in the corner. The son that's the musician is the one that's actually interesting.
They're all interesting. That's the thing. Every character in this movie is interesting. No. Why wasn't Denzel Washington interesting for you?
He's just kind of a dick.
Yeah, he's a dick who is a dick because he thought he lost out on life, and now he's stuck with this family who he feels responsible for because he knows responsibility is where it ends. Like, pleasure, fun, all of that comes after responsibility. So responsibility is where it starts and where it ends.
And that's why he goes and has an affair and has a baby with another woman? Because responsibility is where it ends. There is no pleasure, there is no fun.
That's why he's a complex character, because he believes in his bone. That's why he's a hypocrite. That's why he believes. We're all hypocrites. We're human beings. And that's why he believes in his bones.
I don't want to watch a movie about everybody. I want to watch a movie about somebody interesting. Somebody who does something different.
You essentially just
somebody who isn't just an asshole on his back porch drinking a flask of gin. You just showed why he's a flawed and complex and interesting character. You just did that with your question. One flaw, not complexity.
No, it is complex because the most important thing in life is responsibility, and you just proved that he's not living his life by what he thinks he should be. Therefore, he is this flawed and complex character, and he's living with this guilt inside of him.
Yeah, but like right after that happens, he dies. So where's the fun in that? Where's the fun in watching him have to deal with raising this daughter? He dies, and then his wife has to raise the daughter the rest of the movie.
His wife already agreed to raise the daughter.
Right, so let's focus more on her. Why are we talking about Denzel Washington being so good at this?
Okay, so is she very good?
No, she's better than Denzel. That's a low bar.
And she is also a very complex character because here she is marrying a man who had just gone to prison. So he was in prison, got out, married her, and they had a child together when he already had a child, and she knows he's a dick. He knows he's a dick, but she's sticking by him because she lives her life responsibly. And now because he has another child, she's taking that up and she hates him for it, but she has put her stake in life and she has made her commitments. And for good or ill, that means she has to raise that child. Why don't you think the younger son is interesting?
Like the main son?
Yeah.
Oh, because the other one is more interesting.
So the younger son's not interesting just because the other one is more interesting.
Yeah, when you're talking, like you said, about this intimate family movie, yeah, I'm going to focus on the character that I actually care about. There's not a whole lot of options.
So out of all of them,
there's the hypocritical douche.
So you connect.
There's the martyr, and then there's the one son that's boring like a bush, and then the other one that's a musician who wants $10.
So. Because the young son that you think is boring as a bush. Never heard that before, actually.
That's a thing.
I believe it. I've never heard it. I think he's the catalyst of this movie that actually pushes the father to re-examine his own life and actually kind of confront his own guilt. Because he asks, like, why don't you like me?
Okay, I'm going to cut you guys off there. How'd you really feel about the film?
Thank you. It's wonderful.
It's great. I love this movie. Ethan's...
You can't say anything bad about this movie. It's great.
I mean, it is like, I feel like anything bad you could say about this movie would all be like artistic choices. Like, I didn't like that it didn't feel real. Just like, well, yeah, but it's not supposed to.
No, and then...
Or it's just like, I didn't like that this sounds and feels like a play. It's just like, well, it's supposed to sound and feel like a play. Like, because it's based off a play. And I think they made a smart decision of not like changing too much.
There are moments whenever like Denzel Washington is trying to teach his kids some life lesson that the camera kind of centers in on him. So it's like he's talking to the audience. And, those are the moments where it's like, oh, this isn't that realistic, but it's definitely poignant, it's definitely powerful, and it's a really good choice. So yeah, you could argue about the choices, but I think the choices they made were good. Mm-hmm. This is great. That's a wonderful way to convey a theme through the images that works as well as the text.
Do you have any theories on what the broken window was?
No.
Okay. I've had that.
I didn't really honestly invest that much thought into it.
Okay, yeah, no, well...
I assumed, death or something.
Well, I assume because he talks about how... He continually talks about how he never had a window to throw his pot of piss out of or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then you come to find out that the only reason he has that house is because of his brother and the insurance money. So he didn't actually even earn the house. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that broken window's mocking him because it's like, you don't deserve the house you're in, and you couldn't even afford my broken window even if you wanted me. So I feel like that's what that was. But I've had that question from a couple other people, and I never had a good excuse, or not excuse, I didn't have a good answer for them, so I was just wondering if you had thought about it.
I didn't invest the time I should. It's an August Wilson play. There's good symbolism in it, and it's a great adaptation.
What else has August Wilson done?
He's done a lot of plays.
I know,
he just died.
I don't know anything about him.
He just died. Oh, I just read a bunch of his stuff in college. That's why I said that to begin with.
Yeah.
Oops. I read Fences in college. I don't remember it.
College book.
I went into this thinking it was more about baseball.
The college English book.
Baseball's in it.
And also, Viola Davis and Denzel Washington they both won Tonys for the stage play, right?
Yeah, which was 5-ish years ago.
Yeah, man.
Maybe less.
Well, what would you guys rate the movie?
Ooh. I would give it a 9 out of 10, lot of thunder.
9 out of 10 and a whole lot of thunder. So if you had any movies you'd like us to talk about in the future, go ahead and comment below, let us know, and we will go ahead and read whatever questions you also have for said movie. Unpaid intern Jeff will read out the question and we'll debate it.
All right, well, thank you and good night.
Thanks.